this is the first camp I can enjoy myself and be back. My headspace that I'm in now is way better than what I was before, and that's the only thing that mattered to me.
A lot of things out there about the size and all of this stuff, but people forget that Tank's a top 10 pound for pound fighter, and he's got power in both hands. And skill-wise and technique-wise, he's been doing this for so long.
In this fight, I feel like Tank has the edge for sure. He's a real fighter, and got skills, high IQ fighter. Regardless of the weight, I've personally seen Tank, spar heavyweight.
Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis, a matchup nobody ever saw coming. Two stars from completely different worlds are about to meet in the same ring. Both men are determined to prove they're the best, and the excitement surrounding this fight is real.
Night and day, right? You have to understand, I went from doing YouTube and Disney Channel to 5 years, once to twice a day, 6 to 7 days a week, training, recovery, taking it more serious than ever. I'm just a different specimen. My body is filled out. I'm going into my athletic prime, and going into that and my body filling out, I just feel amazing and feel super strong.
Jake Paul has been very vocal about the intense training he's doing to prepare for the Gervonta Davis fight. He says he's brought serious talent into his training camp and proudly mentions dropping sparring partners during practice. Jake even revealed that Shakur Stevenson will be joining him this week to help him get ready for his showdown with Tank. What's surprising is that Jake also admitted something fans rarely hear from him: that Tank is dangerous. Many people criticize Tank for being the smaller man, saying he's too short to compete with someone like Jake. But Jake disagrees. He openly acknowledges that Tank's power is real, in both hands. He knows Tank can hit like a truck despite his smaller frame. Jake admitting he's nervous about stepping into the ring with Tank is a big deal. It shows how much respect he has for Tank's knockout power and overall skill. That fear alone proves this fight is no joke. It's far more serious than most people think.
Going into a fight that I've actually ever been, because I know how good these people are that I'm sparring, and being able to see how good they are and knowing how good Tank is, it's actually going to be my toughest test to date.
Yeah, I think, Jake, you could make the argument, right? Pound for pound wise, this guy's the most ferocious dude in the whole sport, couldn't you?
For sure. I think he has probably one of the highest knockout percentages.
Yeah, 90-something%, right?
Exactly. And just his speed, his elusiveness, his ring IQ, his conditioning. He's gone 12 rounds so many different times, something that I've never even done. So he's going to be sharp all the way through. I mean, the list goes on. And so just actually being vulnerable for a second, it's like, this is crazy. This is scary. It's kind of keeping me up at night.
Jake, how do you prepare for, like you said, a guy who is shorter than you? How do you find a sparring opponent to replicate something that obviously, there's nobody else out there that's Tank Davis? How do you prepare for a guy that's different stature-wise?
Yeah, no, we have world champions. Raymond Ford in the 130-pound weight class. We got Montana Lovin. Shakur Stevenson is coming in this week. So wow. Just sparring against guys on their level and people who have, been doing this their whole entire lives. But we're really focusing on speed and not as much on power. I'm not doing as much like weightlifting and all of that stuff. I'm actually trying to lose some muscle so that I have less weight and so that my punches are coming off faster.
A lot of fans don't realize the full story of Tank's journey. Since the very start of his career, Gervonta Davis has sparred with heavyweights, and not just any heavyweights, but highly skilled ones who know exactly what they're doing inside the ring. Showbiz, a well-known boxing analyst, revealed that Tank didn't just survive those sparring sessions, he dominated them. He punished those bigger fighters. So if Tank could handle skilled heavyweights, then facing a cruiserweight like Jake Paul isn't going to shock him. Yes, Jake is bigger, but Tank has already dealt with tougher, larger opponents. Those sparring stories prove Tank isn't intimidated by size. He's used to climbing big mountains. Showbiz also pointed out that the heavyweights Tank sparred with were more technical and experienced than Jake Paul. Jake has certainly improved, He's transitioned from being an influencer to becoming a legitimate boxer, but he's still learning, still refining his fundamentals. Tank, on the other hand, has been fighting high-level talent since his teenage years. If he could survive and dominate boxers far heavier and more skilled than Jake, then Jake's size advantage may not be enough. As Showbiz concluded, this fight is not a mismatch for Tank. If anything, it might be Jake Paul stepping into dangerous territory.
For bigger people, like from middleweight to heavyweight. And the thing is, don't be surprised, okay? This is a photo. This is a photo of one of the bigger guys that he was sparring. But in the past, you know, like maybe a few years ago, he was fighting a guy in Mayweather's camp. He was a bigger guy. I think he was like a middleweight or something like that. He was whooping his ass. One time he was like on live whooping a bigger guy's ass. I mean, he's just beating bigger guys like middleweights and stuff. He's done that in sparring forever. Remember this story? I've brought it up a million times and I've showed this clip a million times, but on Ellie Set Back. This story of this guy saying how Gervonta Tank Davis knocked out this heavyweight.
Tell me the story. What happened?
Tank, what's the one boy name?
No, don't say a name. I don't want to embarrass anyone.
Oh, no, you're right.
But tell people what happened.
Man, I was about to spar. Before I was about to spar Tank, he was sparring this big boy.
A heavyweight.
Heavyweight boy. And Tank hit that nigga. He hit him so hard that he was on the top of the rope just like this. I'm like, I thought he died. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you. I thought he died.
Hey, I've seen him knock out some heavyweights. He might knock all the ass out now.
You knocked out a heavyweight?
Yeah.
How was that?
Cause I hit harder than Wilder.
Now, granted, the heavyweights that Gervonta Tank Davis is whooping and sparring is not like, you know, all-time great heavyweights, all right? And it shouldn't be. But he's sparring the heavyweight, the level of heavyweight that, you know, more experienced than Jake Paul, right? But Jake Paul has beaten those heavyweights himself, all right? I'm thinking that is the caliber of heavyweight that Gervonta Tank Davis is sparring, but he's whooping their asses. And that's a good thing. Honestly, I feel with Jake Paul sparring Raymond Ford, to me, it looked like Raymond Ford got the best of him. It looked like Jake Paul was a little exhausted, and it looked like Raymond Ford wasn't. It looked like Jake Paul was a little disappointed in his performance, and Raymond Ford was trying to give him a pick-me-up. Like, you know, just kind of letting him know. No, like, you know, we do this and do that. It just looked like Raymond Ford was in a confident, secure place, more dominant place, the more alpha out the two in the ring, and that's Raymond Ford. That ain't Gervonta Davis. You know, I love Raymond Ford. I have him on my fighters list. But still, I don't think anyone thinks he's as skillful or as powerful as Gervonta.
Tank has made an important decision about his future. He's not going back to 135 lbs. The constant weight cuts were draining him too much. He wants to stay strong, fresh, and fight where his power is at its best. That's why moving up to 140 lbs shows real growth in his mindset. He's preparing for bigger names and bigger challenges, and that includes this fight with Jake Paul. Once this showdown is over, Tank plans to continue as a full-time super lightweight. He believes he'll perform even better there and wants to dominate this division after proving himself once again on a major stage. Some fans think this new weight might put him at a disadvantage against Jake since Jake is naturally heavier. But Tank sees it differently. He feels this is where his body performs at its best. His stamina improves, and his knockout power becomes even more explosive. When he fought at 135, he was already producing highlight reel knockouts. Now at 140, he wants to deliver show-stopping power. This move could make Tank more dangerous than ever. And Jake Paul might be the first to experience that new version of Tank.
Or had been throwing fits a few weeks ago when Gervonta had announced that he would be fighting Jake Paul in, I believe it's coming up in just about a month, or a little bit less than a month, and that he would not be, at least immediately, he would not be rematching Lamont Roach. So people went all up in arms. Shout out to my guy, Big Dog Willie, who even right now is claiming that Gervonta Davis is going to go try to fight in WWE or something like that when he gets done with Jake Paul. But the truth of the matter is that Gervonta Davis is coming back to boxing. He's always said that he's coming back to boxing. He said he's gonna run off, get this bag real quick, and he'll be right back. Well, as you see, the 135-pound WBA, the WBA, where he holds his 135-pound championship has not stripped him. They said that they were going to look into it if he had not rematched Lamont Roach, but nothing ever really came of that. So as of right now, he still has his 135-pound title, but I'm telling you, the way that things are panning out, I don't think he's going to go back down to the 135-pound division. I think he's going to go to the 140-pound division where really and truly all the smoke is there. Add to it the fact that when he fights Jake Paul, he's going to be fighting Jake Paul at a higher weight than he would necessarily be fighting guys at 135 pounds. You're probably not going to see him drain down for the fight. I don't think he's going to bulk up at all, but usually when guys play with their weight and they go up and allow themselves to fight at a higher weight or fight people at a higher weight class.
Carmel Moughton shared his opinion, and he believes Tank clearly has the upper hand. Carmel explained that Tank's experience sparring with heavyweights means that Jake's size won't bother him one bit. Jake may be bigger, but Tank is smarter. The real difference lies in skill level. Carmel views Tank as a master boxer, while Jake is still learning the craft. He predicts Tank not only to win, but to win convincingly. Carmel knows Tank personally and sees his work ethic daily behind closed doors, which gives his prediction strong credibility. As Carmel put it simply, talent beats size and skill beats strength. Tank has proven those words through action.
I feel like it's gonna be a good fight, entertaining. It's an exhibition, so we're gonna see how serious they really take it, but I don't know, they both getting a lot of money, so, congrats to them.
What if you had it, who has the edge in this fight?
I feel like Tank has the edge for sure. He's a real fighter, and got skills, high IQ fighter. Regardless of the weight, I've personally seen Tank, spar heavyweights, and even me, I spar heavyweights, So the weight's not really too much, for a lot of great fighters, so I feel like Tank gonna get it for sure.
Do you think he kind of be an advantage because he's small and fast? Someone said that. I'm I didn't think about that actually.
Yeah, possibly. He gonna see a lot of Jake Paul's punches coming. He can be able to evade them and then set him up for a big counter.
Wait, but do you think this is going to be different than the other Jake Paul fights we've seen, against Mike Tyson and Julio Cesar Chavez? I know a lot of people weren't the happiest with that, but I feel like Tank's going to give him a different fight. Do you think so?
I think so. We'll see how he adapts because a lot of people think it's hard, for a small guy to be fighting a bigger guy, but it's also hard for a big guy to be fighting a smaller guy. It's a small target, they're very fast, so we'll have to see how he adapts to it.
Wait, and is Floyd Mayweather versus Mike Tyson really happening?
Yeah, that's happening.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Wait, is there a date already, or what's going on?
I don't think there's a date yet, but it's definitely an official fight and it's happening.
So what do you got to say about that? What's going on?
It's gonna be a great show. Floyd's gonna do his thing. Hopefully I'm on the undercard so I can put on a great show as well.
No, really? You guys already talked about that?
Not yet, no, but we'll have to see. Yeah, for sure.
And are you gonna fight again this year? What's next with you, Carmel?
I don't know. At the moment, we haven't heard nothing. We're just waiting, staying patient, staying ready. But I should be back at least one more time before the end of the year.
When this fight was first announced, Shakur Stevenson was one of the loudest critics. He questioned why a top-level champion like Gervonta Davis would agree to face a YouTuber-turned-boxer instead of another elite professional. To Shakur, this matchup felt like an insult to the sport he's devoted his entire life to. But things have taken an unexpected turn. Reports now claim that Jake Paul offered Shakur a financial deal to join his training camp and help him prepare specifically for Davis's style. This sudden twist shocked many fans. Analysts argue that if Shakur truly believed the fight disrespected boxing, he would have stayed away. But once a strong financial offer came his way, he decided to participate. The same fight he once mocked as a circus is now the one he's helping Jake prepare for. Observers say this is a clear example of how quickly opinions in boxing can change when money gets involved.
A lot of money to help him in camp, some easy money to come spar somebody or whatever, go get your money, right? But what's funny to me is for someone who had nothing positive to say about this fight, and someone who was critical of Tank Davis for taking this fight, and tried to shit on Tank Davis for taking this fight, he sure is doing whatever he can to be a part of it. He sure is doing whatever he can to be a part of the fight. And then to take that a step deeper and a step further, for someone who doesn't want to talk about Tank Davis anymore, he sure is making moves to ensure that he has continued to be mentioned with Gervonta Tank Davis. Shakur Stevenson is not stupid. The new firm that he hired to do his PR work and get him to do these interviews and try to enhance his brand, they not stupid. Jay Prince not stupid. Josh Dubin not stupid. The people around Shakur Stevenson have been building social media brands, building boxers, and building talent in different industries at the same time. I mean, for a long time. They know how this shit works. They not dumb. They know the conversation that is going to surround Shakur helping Jake Paul. Tank Davis' biggest rival going to camp to help Jake Paul. If Jake Paul has any kind of success in the fight, Jake Paul was successful because Shakur Stevenson is on a different level and he helped prepare Jake Paul for the fight with Tank. That's why Jake Paul did so good. They know this, bro. And to me, that's the problem that I always have with these guys like Shakur Stevenson. You can throw Lamont Roach in there. You can throw Devin Haney in there, bro. You can throw Keyshawn Davis in there if you want to. My issue is they won't admit what it is. And I guess it's an ego thing, it's a pride thing, because I get it.
Offset shared a completely different point of view, focusing on the physical matchup. He believes Jake Paul's size and natural strength give him a real chance to win. The weight difference is clear, and Offset says that if Jake lands the right punch, it could change everything. However, he also recognizes Gervonta Davis's exceptional skill. Offset points out that Davis is a fighter who can slip punches, counter immediately, and make opponents miss all night long. So, while Offset slightly favors Jake due to his size, he also admits that Jake might never land a clean shot on Tank. To him, this fight is fascinating, a true battle between size and skill, a powerful challenger versus a slick, highly trained champion.
Jake Paul and Tank Davis.
I don't understand how that's happening though.
I mean, that's kind of what Jake Paul does, right?
The nigga's 7'8". 6'7". I'm not saying 7'8". Like the nigga's
so what?
6'4".
So you think Jake wins?
Yes.
This is kind of like the Mayweather versus Logan Paul fight, and Mayweather, he got the better of Logan for sure. I think Logan's even bigger
than Jake. Fuck no.
Logan's bigger than Jake, yeah.
He
like
is?
Bigger, yeah. But Jake's now a more experienced boxer than probably Logan was at that time.
I don't know. That weight shit, man, that shit's a real thing.
What's the odds on that shit? I wonder. Not out yet?
Who you think will win out of Canelo?
I don't really follow boxing like
Canelo,
that.
Man. I like
Canelo?
I like my boy, but Canelo's just
Canelo's a beast.
He not old. He still got it. He hit hard as a motherfucker. And then like the fighters he fought and lost to was some dogs though. Like most people won't get in the ring with him. So it's like I feel like I don't know. Has he got this? I don't know. I feel like he gonna land though. What's that? What's the odds on that?
Oh, listen to this. Davis is minus 205 to beat Jake Paul. Jake Paul's plus 155.
Wow, that's tight odds. Tank Davis is minus 205. Jake Paul's 155 opening odds. Dude, that's crazy. I don't know.
Tank 5'2" though, but it's like he's so short.
Fast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm saying the height difference is
Like,
crazy.
is Jake even gonna be able to hit him?
Or
Like,
the
he's
other way
probably so
around.
fast.
He's
Tank's gonna
fast,
be able
but
to hit
Tank-
Jake.
He's short though.
Tank's gonna hit him a lot,
some shit,
right?
How tall is Tank? 5'7"? He's like 6'3". So different. That's
no, I know.
He's 6'3" and big. Now technique, he got him in technique because he's for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I gotta see that fight. That shit sound crazy.
You gamble on football? You sports
He had
bet?
to pay him a lot of money to that fight.
Oh, they're making so much money.
Some analysts have noticed that many of the fighters who criticize Davis aren't doing it out of concern for the sport. It's rooted in jealousy. They argue that Gervonta Davis has faced envy since the early days of his career. Now that he's about to make a huge amount of money in one night, that jealousy has only grown stronger. According to these analysts, many of his critics would happily take the same opportunity if they had the chance. Instead of congratulating him for securing such a massive payday, they keep attacking his choices. The experts believe most of the negativity around Tank comes from those who simply wish they were in his position.
Fire! I get the chance to pick a great business mind brain and help give him some game in the process. I'm down. Oh, we know you're down. So for one, you look like you hating on Tank, bro. Like you specifically. Two, this is the same guy that said he's not watching the fight, but now you're somewhat taking part in the fight because you're trying to gather or help prepare Jake Paul for the fight. And then this is what Shakur Stevenson does, in my opinion. Shakur will make questionable choices, do certain things, right? And then afterwards, he'll be like, yeah, now that I got y'all attention, I got everybody mad at me. Bro, the stuff you're doing is weird. You know what I mean? And it's almost like, to me, it's almost close to like Karen behavior, in the sense that Karens, you see some of these Karens and they do all this extra stuff and then act like the victim. And I told you that's one of the main problems with Gen Z, right? Where Gen Z, they will do just weird things, make weird choices, make weird decisions, and then they'll act like, man, I'm Tupac, me against the world, everybody's against me. Everybody's not against you. You're just doing weird things. You're making weird decisions, it's weird behavior, so on and so forth. So let's ultimately recap. We got to do the Boxing Ego recap to see what's really going on here.
There's also a lot of debate about the rumored earnings for this fight. Figures like $20 million or $40 million sound believable to most analysts. But when some outlets claim that both fighters could make nearly $200 million each, people start getting skeptical. Many in the boxing world feel those numbers are exaggerated, too big to be true. Yes, the fight is massive, and the hype is undeniable. But earning that much in one night still seems unrealistic to most experts. For now, the money remains a mystery. Impressive, but uncertain.
It says 150 to 200 mil.
That'd be the most any athlete's ever made in one event, in one night. Where are they getting that money?
I mean, it's Netflix.
Okay, Mike Tyson didn't make that. Jake Paul didn't make that.
Yeah. 20 million, I would believe, not 200 million.
20 million seems realistic.
That's a lot.
Even because Netflix is bigger, but there's no pay-per-view model. So, and Gervonta is a big pay-per-view draw, especially for being a lighter weight class.
Yeah.
So 20 to even 40, I can get.
Oof, that's a lot.
40, I can understand.
When push comes to shove, though, like 20.
Like Canelo's getting that 40, but Gervonta Davis, he was especially on Showtime, he was a big pay-per-view star.
Yeah.
He's a knockout artist. 200 mil is just completely false.
Man, I mean,
you swipe. What it says? Swipe to read more. What else does it say?
No, there's nothing there. That's probably from the original.
God, Jake is so much bigger.
Yeah, man.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned for more updates. Until next time.